Plaintiff Thomas Chapman is suing his ex-girlfriend, who he met when she was a stripper, for forged checks and bank fees. Thomas claims he was shocked when the defendant told him she was pregnant just a month after they met. Defendant Jennifer Allen claims she and Thomas planned the baby, and then he left her and their infant son for another woman. Jennifer is countersuing for harassment because the plaintiff and his wife have sent her over 100 vulgar text messages.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Jeanine Pirro presiding. You may be seated.
All right. Thomas Chapman is suing Jennifer Allen, his ex-girlfriend, for a forged check and bank fees. And Jennifer is countersuing her ex-boyfriend for harassment. How are you today?
Good.
And you are?
Vanessa, his wife.
All right. You're his witness?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, Thomas, why are you here today?
Your Honor, I'm here because Jennifer forged some of my checks. It all started, me and boys, after work one day, we decided to go to the strip club and have some beers, where I met Jennifer dancing. A month after, so she tells me she's pregnant.
That's not
Your
Honor.
Whoa, you left out an important piece.
Oh, so I'm sorry. We hooked up.
Yeah. Were you married at the time?
No.
Oh, good.
Okay. So anyways, I, being the good guy that I am, I decided to stick by her and pay all the bills for my unborn child and pay the bills for her. And about a month after Colby was born, I had a
What's
job
his name?
off. Colby,
Colby?
my son. Yeah.
Colby?
Yeah, Colby.
How old is Colby?
14 months. Last time I seen him was about 7 months ago.
Why?
Because she won't let me see him. She's got a little game she wants to play or something.
How far do you live from the defendant?
About 45, 50 miles.
Okay. And you're saying you haven't seen your child in 7 months.
Yeah.
And you're blaming her for that.
Yeah.
Okay. How could you possibly blame her for that? Wouldn't you go into court and sue to see your own child?
Yeah, it costs $500 to do the paperwork.
Oh, hogwash. You can go into any family court in this country and say, I want custody of my child and I want to see my child.
It takes $500 to start that, Your Honor.
Are you kidding me? You have no excuse to stand in this courtroom and say, you don't know where your son is. How do you know your son is being cared for? You have an obligation as a parent to make sure that he's okay. Let's start at the beginning.
He moved in with me. I was working at the bar. He moved in with me. Everything was great. We decided, he's going to tell you different. We decided to have this child. He was a planned child. We moved into another house. June Arcanado was our landlord. So we moved in together. The agreement was for me to stay home with I'm also a single mother of a 9-year-old, to stay home with the kids. And while I was pregnant, everything was fine. Throughout the pregnancy, there was times that we were short on bills, and I would go to my father, which is my witness, and write him X amount of checks to pay back the loan over time. That's the checks he's talking about.
Dad,
so that's what he's suing me for.
Dad, state your name, sir.
Terry Allen.
All right, Terry. What did you do? Did you loan them money?
Yes, they came to me when Tommy came out of work, because he does do those jobs where he goes out of town, and then sometimes there's not jobs. They came and asked, or Jenny came and asked if she could give me post-dated checks, like 4, 5, 6 of them, so that they would kind of spread their debt out over time.
After my son was born, Tommy decided to take a job, and I understand we were on the rocks. Tommy decided to take a job in California, which is where he met her.
Right.
He came home, and I found out that he cheated on me based on going to the doctors and finding out he cheated on me with her. He left, and instead of giving me any explanation, he just left. He agreed to pay the bills and the rent on the house. We had a lease because I wasn't working until the lease was up, which the lease was up in October. No explanation. I was left. He wasn't even man enough to pack his own belongings or have anyone. I had to pack all of mine, who just left me for another woman, all of his things, and have his dad come pick them up. I had to taking care of a kid on my own with no money, pack all of his. He didn't even have the decency to do that. Just send them to his father so that he could be with this other woman. Anyways.
A month later.
So
stop talking. This is not funny. I'm going to throw you out of this courtroom. This is not for you to make a commentary. This is not for you to laugh.
So, this case, I believe, is a tit for tat because he just won. That's why he's suing me. He hasn't brought anything about this. He has not helped his son. The only time he agreed to pay child support was we agreed on $1,500. He brought me $500 in a note from pretty much his wife saying, you know, this is all you're going to get pretty much. I haven't received any child support nor phone calls since April to see his son, other than harassing text messages, which we'll get to those.
He pretty much admits it. He hasn't seen his son in 7 months. So what are we suing for?
She forged my checks.
How did she get your checks?
I signed, I believe, like 8 checks, maybe 10. I don't remember how many I signed. And told her that if Colby needed diapers or whatever, go get him diapers. I did not tell her that you could go make a little agreement with your daddy and sign him over and use the money for whatever you're going to use him for.
Hang on.
So,
all right, so
one thing comes down to another. Terry Allen here says that he's going to sue me for some checks that I haven't paid him for. So I get into looking into that, go to my bank, and my banker pulls up a bunch of checks that have been written. And she's like, whoa, this doesn't look like your signature. She pulls out these checks out of the lineup here, and I'm like, no, not my signature at all.
Those two.
I don't need your commentary. Okay. These checks are made to Jennifer Fitzgibbon. Who's Jennifer Fitzgibbon?
She's my old neighbor.
Okay. And who is Jen Arcanato?
June Arcanato is our landlord.
Okay. $1,095. Is that not your signature?
That is not my signature.
Okay. But there's no question that you were living in a house where this Arcanato was the landlord.
Yes, I was.
And you owed the rent.
I did not. My stuff was out of there prior to that. I moved my stuff.
When did you move out?
The end of August.
No, that's not true.
All right, this is September. So you're saying that you didn't owe rent for September.
No, not
And
at
that,
all.
okay. What about Jennifer Fitzgibbon? Do you know what that was for?
No,
Okay, and this is not your signature.
not at all. Would
Okay.
you like to see my signature?
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, let's get back to, so now you say you, during the course of your relationship, would leave her checks.
Yes.
The checks that you would leave her, were they blank checks or did they have,
I signed them on the bottom.
you signed your name?
Yes.
All right. And what was the agreement between the two of you? What would you leave her the check for?
To use for formula, diapers.
Did you have any kind of formal agreement as it related to Colby's child support?
We agreed on $400 a month
All right, so there was some agreement. Now, why are you suing her?
for the money back
How
that
much?
she took out of my account. $1,215, I think it was.
Are you saying for this check to the landlord is what you're suing her for?
For that and my
And Jennifer Fitzgibbon?
Jennifer Fitzgibbon, and then all the bank fees that I had to pay to research all
Prove it
this.
to me. You have to give me evidence. Where are the bank
Okay.
fees?
This is just a few of them. My banker printed like 35 pages. Plus it overdrew my account.
All right, so this check bounced, the $10.95.
I don't believe it. They paid it, but they charged me a fee for it.
I see. Dad, come on up. Talk to me.
I cashed those checks and just took them as a lump sum. And then when I went to cash them after they broke up, because it was like 2 months later that they wanted to have me start cashing them, no money. Well, one of them cleared, and then the next one, no insufficient funds. The next one,
So, Terry,
account's
what
closed.
you're saying is they gave you post-dated checks?
Correct.
In payment for money that you had advanced them?
Yes.
Yes, for rent.
Do you have any agreement reflecting that that was the case?
Only the notation that's on the checks.
Okay, and you're saying that he already won in small claims in another court?
Like a month ago.
What did
these
you
checks.
win, Terry?
Do you want the
Well, I have a judgment. However, he's contested that judgment because he failed to show
show
for
up
the
for
trial.
court?
Okay.
So we're going to retry that in November.
What is he talking about, Tommy?
Your Honor, this is a case that is still ongoing that hasn't been settled.
Because he didn't show
And
up
he
for court.
said that I didn't show up. I didn't have a notification.
Did you owe Terry money?
No, not at all. I did not make an agreement with this man.
Did he loan you money?
No.
All right, what do you want to say? You're here today. What evidence can you add to this?
She's playing this whole sympathy baby mama thing when it's like she had another man in the house a month later, after her baby's only a month old, calling my husband saying, "Oh, I have some other man here. You don't need to be in his life." So, I mean, she can go ahead and cry all she wants.
Well, I get the drift.
You
You
know.
don't like her. I don't much care that you do or you don't. All right. These checks that she wrote to her father are your signature or not?
Those are my signature.
But she didn't have the right to fill out the payee, the person to whom she was giving the money to.
If she was taking it to the department store, not to her dad.
Okay. All right. Now, there was a harassment claim on your part?
In about March, April, I started receiving text messages from the plaintiff and his wife. Harassing text messages, very, very vulgar, rude, terrible text messages, and I will give those to you.
Yes, I'd like to see them.
These are just a few of the probably 180 I've received. I've had days where I've had to turn my phone off because I couldn't even use it. So many text messages were coming in.
I only signed, you wrote all the rest. Frankly, I don't even know what I signed those checks for.
How do we know that you didn't type these up?
Whoa.
Because my dad saw all the text messages.
You are not a lawyer. You know nothing about this case other than to add a little drama. Be quiet. Wish I found my beautiful wife I now have than making the horrible mistake with you and having a kid with someone as ugly as you are. Don't be jealous. I'm happy. Colby was just a mistake I had with some whore who was taking her clothes off for everyone, and I'll be sure to remind him every day of that and how you, every man you meet. It's pathetic how you have no problem spreading your legs so easily. You're a white trash who has no class. What's the matter with you?
My son hasn't been to the doctor since he was 2 months old.
He has, and that was all. And it was a report that was made. It was all found falsified. And
I'm not looking to create any more drama or pain here. What I know is this: there is a beautiful baby in the mix here that you haven't seen. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care how crazy the mother is, and I'm not suggesting that you are, okay? You are a father, and you have an obligation to make sure that son is okay. And now I think even less of you, Thomas, and I'll tell you why. If you believe that that child has not seen a doctor since he was 2 months, and you're taking your time and coming to small claims court for $1,000 instead of spending $500 to get custody of that kid, you are as worthless as you claim she is. Now, let me add something else to that. I don't care what this woman did, okay? I don't care if she's a stripper, if she takes her clothes off every 3 minutes. It's not my cup of tea, but who am I to say? The bottom line is you chose to sleep with her, and the bottom line is you have a baby. And you know what? I'll bet that baby could be a terrific human being. Just get over the crap that the two of you are involved in. She's hurt. You're bad-mouthing her. You're trashing her. As far as she's concerned, you go out of town, you get another woman. I hope you're happy. And there's no problem, Tom. You can be happy. You can be married, be happy, but respect the mother of your child. You have to respect her, because your son's going to grow up a messed up kid with the two of you fighting. She's a broken woman. The woman is broken, and this has nothing to do with this ridiculous money claim that we're here for. We have had the plaintiff in this case who was alleging, if it is true, that this is not a signature, a basic forgery by the defendant. Now, the issue, of course, can be resolved very simply by a handwriting expert. What happens is, and what we have here, is what's called a handwriting exemplar, where parties are actually asked to write their name several times, and the plaintiff has done that. The issue for the court is whether or not that name was forged. All right. An expert has issued an opinion. Characteristics indicate a strong probability that Chapman did not prepare the question signatures. In other words, what the expert is saying is that he believes there's a strong probability that the plaintiff did not sign these checks. Therefore, it is the order of this court that the plaintiff's claim for the amount of $1,215 and $90, $1,305, is awarded to the plaintiff. Your claim for harassment is dismissed. There is no civil cause of action for harassment. But what I'm going to tell you is this. You are going to sue him for child support.
I have a case pending. They sent out a garnishment already.
Okay. But in the meantime, take the money and do something with it. Okay? So ordered. Thank you.